Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I'm your host today, Jackie, and we have...
Japheth.
And...
I'm Robert Iger. I'm here to see what's going on with my parks.
Hey, Bob, how's it going?
Hey, JPEG, I didn't invite you to this meeting.
And we have a special guest.
Who?
It's you.
Me?
Father Yodeler.
Oh!
He got lost.
Yeah. And we are going to be... Today we're going to be talking about Disneyland.
Disney tips.
Oh,
Where's
my
it at?
favorite topic, Disneyland.
We're talking about Disneyland. What's going on? What did COVID change? New Disney tips. We're going to talk a little bit about construction. What's going on in the world of Disneyland?
When are we going next?
It's a mystery.
I may be going soon.
Ooh.
I haven't bought anything, but there is the conversation
there's
has
tentative
rumbled.
plans.
It's rumbled in my house.
Rumbled.
And rumbling gets things going.
It's your daughter. I want Disneyland.
Not
No.
yet. Oh,
I don't think
I
she's
will
been
not let her
asking
know
yet.
that. She's dangerous. Just like, oh, we're gonna go see, Peter. You're gonna see your cousins, or we're gonna see, Uncle Peter and his sons, and all yesterday was like, I'm gonna see the cousin. I'm gonna see the cousin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see the cousin. And I'm like, I cannot
At
do that.
at that age, you can't tell them anything until you're about to go do it.
Exactly. I just can't do it. It's been hard enough this weekend.
You can't make the kids. You're better off just surprising them.
So that's your first,
Your first tip.
Disneyland tip. Don't tell your children.
Just drive and just tell them you're going to a zoo, and they'll be like, "This is a faraway zoo." Well, this is a special zoo. There's fish. There's mice. There's dogs. There's ducks. There's lots of animals. We're going to this special zoo.
Yeah.
That's how I spun it. And they're like, we're going to Disneyland, aren't we? No, we're going to a zoo.
Very costly one.
Yes. And so COVID happened.
Let's bring it down here. COVID happened.
Understatement of the last 3 years.
That thing happened.
Sorry, we're in a goofy mood right now.
Yes. We did like a tips episode.
Years.
A couple years
During
ago.
COVID.
Yeah, during COVID.
Parks were still closed at that time.
Yeah.
Here's your tips.
And, well, because of COVID and the restrictions and stuff, it changed how to handle Disneyland.
Yes. Any Disney park.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It changed the way things are done because there are now lightning lanes and Genie Plus and
I have
Reservations
no idea what those are.
you need.
reservations you need and dining experiences that are impossible to get, and it's
Magic
Please,
keys. What are
sir,
magic
may I
keys?
please have some food?
And how many vloggers have taken over Disneyland?
yes.
Very much.
Is that a new experience? Because I don't remember that at all back in 2018 or seeing
it really picked up. I would say 2014 is when Disney vlogging became like a popular thing.
It's like all those podcasters.
They're the worst.
Man.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about what's going on, what our feelings is, the direction Disneyland's going to.
What's happening? What's
Yeah.
going on? What's going to be coming out? Things
So let's start with maybe like some construction. What's
Okay.
going on
Some
with
constructive criticism.
So, I mean, recently there's been a lot of changes to the park, to Disneyland Park itself. We have a remodel of Toontown that recently opened
So
up this
Toontown,
year.
what is in Toontown right now? And
So basically, they kind of, they...
let's go through. Goofy's house there?
Goofy's house is there, and it's
Great.
relevant.
It's awesome.
What's awesome?
It's very interactive.
How?
Because you are making, so you know how Goofy has the little
He has
sour
candy.
candies?
Yeah.
you're making the sour candy
Ooh.
In his house.
in his
his
house.
It is truly the COVID experience.
But yeah, he's got his whole yard expanded a little bit.
It's like a little playground.
It's a good playground where kids. There's a slide and yeah, it's a nice looking area. I haven't been there yet. I've only seen the video. Jackie's.
We're not going to bring back the bouncy house Goofy and
No.
have
No.
concussions and all sorts of medical
watch
contusions.
out. New things at Toontown will probably disappear as lawyers say, nah, we don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I thought.
So go soon.
Well, there's some stuff with the tree, their tree that they have, where like they have roots that are just like sticking out, just little like things just sticking out of the ground. And I'm like, really? They thought this was a good idea, not a tripping hazard?
As Peter trips on it, he goes, "I'm rich."
I know, right? I'm like, okay.
I
like-
mean, my ankles.
Oh,
like,
dang it. I was wearing flip flops.
It's like, we know you know about the rules of Disney.
I know, right?
I wasn't wearing flip flops, I swear.
But they so yeah, Goofy's house has been redone, so it's actually interesting to look through and look at. Donald's boat, you can't go inside in anymore. It's going to become a little splash pad that hasn't opened up yet.
No, it's just there.
You
Right.
can't go into Donald's boat anymore.
No.
Oh. That was
No.
fun.
Well, it stopped being fun when they got rid of everything inside of it. It was more of like, yeah, you can't get on the second level anymar. It was just like the
climb the
ground
net.
floor. It was all.
Could you even climb the nets anymore? Where they lawyer proofed it.
Yes, they did, and so yeah, they Goofy housed it.
Oh man.
It was It
You imagine the one kid
It
who's
was
like,
in rough
I
state.
remember when it was bouncing. The guy just jumps in there and like cracks a rib as he hits one of the hardened, furniture pieces.
right. The coaster is still there.
Gadget's still there.
Gadget.
It's
still there.
but it's Chip and Dale's Gadget's coaster.
Okay.
But Gadget still voices the safety spiel.
Yeah, they didn't want
Do
to.
they have the two different Chip and Dales? Do they have like the animated and the 3D version?
No, it's just the animated.
Oh,
version.
okay. That would have
Um,
been pretty cool to see that.
The Chip and Dale treehouse is gone.
Yes.
That is gone.
The
It's
PP ball
a
pit is
pic-
gone there.
Instead of the treehouse, it's a picnic area.
Yeah, with some shade. Kind of a
Yes.
cave, alcove.
It's kind of
shady
a
area,
place
which
where
is
like
good.
adults can just sit and kids just run around.
Okay.
Yeah. Mickey and Minnie's house, same.
Yeah.
It's still
There's
there?
Still
Yeah.
there.
It didn't
No.
get foreclosed on,
No.
and Disney cast members
The-
getting scolded by management.
The fountain's gone.
Okay.
The
So City Hall's
orna-
gone.
No, City Hall's still there.
Toontown City Hall.
Toontown City Hall's still there. But the fountain in front of Mickey's house, that's gone.
Is the
And
restaurant?
gazebo in front of City Hall is gone.
That's
It's gone.
gone, too.
Is the hot dog restaurant gone too?
No, I think
There used to
that's
be a
still
hot dog.
there.
That's still there. I
Yeah,
believe.
they updated the food places. It's like Daisy's.
It's actually like decent food. It's not like
Yeah, they updated the food.
Garbage burgers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not garbage burgers. And ice cream. I think that was pretty much all it was. But they have the new attraction, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Did you ride that while you were
Yes,
there?
I did. It was my
Okay.
first time riding it.
And what were your first impressions?
First impression, it's a really pretty ride. I thought the mechanics of it was really well done. And I really appreciate it. And I was like, I kind of wish I rode it again. Because
Did you pay for it or did you stand by?
we did standby line.
Okay.
Gotta pay.
For the fast pass.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You,
Well,
you don't
we'll-
wanna
we'll
talk
I've
about-
paid for, and when I was in
That's right, you know a
Disneyland,
little bit
I
about
paid
that.
for Tower of Terror, and it totally changed my experience.
Right.
To where it's like, oh, I don't want to pay for another ride again.
Yeah, so we did the standby line, and the standby line is so good.
Yeah, it is a good queue.
There's so much to look at. It's basically all of like if you were a fan of all the Mickey Mouse cartoons and watched all of those growing up, they take props out of them, be like, oh, this was from this, and
So if,
Almost like my cool ride idea, where they take all the props from
Yeah.
like the abandoned rides and then they
Yes.
throw it in. And okay.
yep, same concept,
Yeah.
but
Cool.
just in the queue. So it's really cool because
and the movie posters are great.
every person's interpretation of like their version of Mickey is represented in the queue of this
Yes.
attraction.
Oh, cool.
And like they
So
have
even Mickey Mouse Clubhouse
Yep.
has, a thing there.
And they have movie posters that are like rethemed with Disney characters.
Yeah.
So like you've got like the High School Musical is rethemed as like Max and his gang, like
Oh, from
design.
like Goofy,
Yeah,
like the
from
Goofy,
the Goofy
movie.
movie. And yeah,
It's
it's
the
just
Leaning Tower of Jesus. Oh.
And this sits kind of where the old Toontown big store was.
Oh,
With the
yeah, I
gas
like
I
that
factory.
store.
really
That
liked
was-
that store.
That was a good store to go to up there, where it didn't just sell garbage. It was kind of like
So-
the Emporium of the north side of Disney.
It was. And technically the store is still there. It's just part of
Small.
the exit of the attraction.
and it's
Clever girl.
more centric to
To the attraction
Yes.
itself.
But yeah, I wrote it also, but I wasn't as enthused about it. I think the cartoon spin is still better. Roger Rabbit's cartoon
Which is
spin.
still there.
It is still there.
It's only slightly
it's still
modified.
popular.
Only slightly
Why?
modified.
I don't
Why
know.
is it?
When I was just there recently, and the line time and the fast passes went quick.
Of course, then Toontown's new, so
Yes.
that makes anything there in Toontown popular. So
Okay.
I'm
People are migrating up there, but even when it was like dead,
It was popular.
it was still popular. People still, and I just like I never like in my adult life felt like I need to ride Roger Rabbit. Like I've never.
Honestly, it's an attraction I forget about.
I've always just I'm like I will write it again because I've got new people to experience
If the
this with.
fast pass queue is out the door, I ain't going in that thing.
I like the fact that you've got two ride vehicles attached to each other because it makes it easy to take pictures of another family member in the other attraction. So
That's true.
that's one of the appealing things that I find appealing about that. But and also I don't think the railway takes that much time to do, so you still feel like you've got time to spend at Toontown.
And it's a fast moving queue. It moves.
If you didn't have the fast passes involved, then yes, it would.
Because it loads a lot of people. The vehicles fit a lot of people, and they cycle through them pretty quickly. So,
Do you have a recommended time when to go?
Yes, I do. So I would say if you are going, if you're going to Disneyland and you've got young kids, usually the first stop you want to hit is Fantasyland because you got young kids.
Get it out of the way.
I would recommend doing Toontown first. It opens up early.
And they don't do like an hour later like they used to.
No.
I did the exact same thing. I think they had an hour early launch at before we got there, but we went straight up there. There was no wait.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was pretty well in the front of the line and to get into Disneyland, and we just went straight up there. And I was thinking, oh, do I go get the fast pass or whatever? It was basically a walk on.
Do you recommend that I do that like the first ride when taking my daughter?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah,
would that
yeah.
get her like in the mode like I'm at
Yeah.
Disneyland?
It's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toontown.
Okay.
Sure. Go for it.
All right.
I probably wouldn't linger in that land much after that point. That would be like come back later to explore the rest
Okay.
of it. Because
Maybe at night when it's like,
your first 2
Yeah.
hours
Cooler.
are kind of important to getting things done.
of
So-
course, always been the most critical time.
Yeah. 'Cause
What I want to do is do a day focused on my kids. So I'm not
Right.
worried like, got to do the roller coasters.
But like
nah, I'm
you'll
good. Me and my wife done that.
you'll want to hit Mickey Mouse, and then you'll want to go back to Fantasyland.
Go back to
yes,
Fantasyland.
because when the park opens, the people that have the kids and stuff will rush to Fantasyland, and it gets like
Get on
kind of
Peter Pan. Gotta get on Peter Pan.
Gummed up.
We've done Peter Pan with her already. So I'd probably do like Alice or Teacups.
Those
You know.
become kind of standard wait times.
Yeah, they
usually,
regulate
unless it's
each
an
other.
overcrowded park.
Okay.
So yeah, and we can kind of go into
and
what
that tends to be a big secret for when it comes to hitting rope drop is go to the furthest point in the park because
Yep.
everyone's kind of trying to get to the closest thing.
Yep.
But if you're in Toontown and it's empty, take advantage of it.
some fun pictures and stuff like
Yes.
that and interactions.
I personally prefer Toontown at night,
Yeah.
but sometimes they close it down because of fireworks.
Yep.
They do
and
reopen after fireworks at like 10
probably
o'clock.
now that it's kind of new and so it's a big thing they do. I kind of like it then. Sometimes it's really empty then, but I don't know how it is now.
If you're debating whether or not to purchase Lightning Lane, do not purchase Lightning Lane.
No.
It's not worth it.
What is Lightning Lane?
It's a fast pass.
So Lightning
So
Lane,
you buy a
is
fast
the-
pass.
Lightning Lane is like the supreme of Fast Pass. So you've got your Genie Plus where you can
That
purchase-
includes fast pass for all the attractions.
So I get the app on my phone,
right.
and then I purchase my ticket. And then what's Genie Plus once I purchase my ticket?
You would buy Genie Plus on the app.
So I buy
as
Genie
well.
Plus on the app, and that gives me what?
That gives you one fast pass for every attraction except for 2 of them.
Okay.
And that's Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway and Rise of the Resistance.
Resistance.
Those are the only
Okay.
2 that are not included with the fast passes.
Honestly, my prediction is I think Disney will eventually remove Lightning Lane from Mickey's Runaway Railway.
And my opinion is why I think that's the case is because that is a family attraction, and to make families pay
Like
you know,
$100
$20 a
ride.
person to go on this kid ride, you know, to pay for all your kids, that's an expense. Like you're
It
gonna
leaves
pay
a
your
taste
kid,
in your mouth.
You're gonna pay $100 just to cut 20 minutes out of your day.
And the line queue,
Ugh,
once
gosh.
you're inside, like, it's a great line. There's so much to look at. It moves. It's not like a stagnant line. It moves and flows. So, like,
So it's kind of like a Haunted Mansion thing where like you
The
get
Omni
loaded
mover
up into
kinda.
a theater.
Okay.
yeah.
So like when it moves, you move a lot.
And, okay.
So it's definitely just not worth it. And I would say do the Lightning Lane. When I entered in the lane, the standby line, it was, let me get my data up here. The line was 40 minutes wait time it posted, and I only waited 30. But that was to the ride vehicle, not to the show.
Okay. All right, those are some good tips right there.
Yeah.
So and that's pretty much Toontown. I mean, they took out the Jolly Trolley tracks. That's about it.
Right. Why have the hazard?
The background's pretty and it's nicer looking
Yeah.
and it's a great looking place.
It's pretty again.
Mm-hmm. I think they did a great job with it.
Mm-hmm. So that's that.
Did you do anything in Tomorrowland?
Tomorrowland,
No.
the only thing that's
The
done
Road of 96
doesn't really apply to any of us, but to any of our DVC listeners. They have the new DVC lounge at the top floor of the Innovations building, or the Star Wars launch bay.
They added
Where
some
they had the
carpet
merchandise.
and lounge chairs.
There's pieces from the archives there.
Oh, okay.
There's the old spaceman suit that they had.
What is
in
Space
the
Fan Soup?
50s,
Yeah.
for the flight to the moon, they'd usually, you've probably seen pictures of
People in spacesuits.
Yeah.
Like there was walk around characters instead of Disney characters. They were just like space
astronauts. yeah.
astronauts that would walk
Gotta
around.
be a miserable costume.
You're wearing a
just-
fishbowl on your head.
They kept like, I'm gonna swim with the mermaids. I can't. It's just so hot, and that's why they're like, okay, no more mermaids and no more astronauts walking around
Yeah.
through here.
Other than that, Tomorrowland's pretty much the same. There's nothing new there.
No.
Fast Pass is only for Space and
Space.
Star.
Star
Star
Tours,
Tours,
and
Buzz.
and Buzz.
Okay. Do they have anything in the
Oh, and
Captain
Autopia. Autopia, you get a fast pass.
Yeah.
I gotta do that.
Yep. You'll
I feel
enjoy it.
nauseous already. The fumes are
The
getting me
fumes,
sick.
Oh man, sometimes just running past there, just
Yeah.
trying to get from one place to another. It's like, oh, I'm breathing those fumes.
Great memories.
We want Tesla to sponsor Autopia.
Yes, we do. Make it electric.
So yeah, that
My
was it.
Autopia car just blew up.
What's next?
There's nothing on Main Street. Main
No,
Street's the
Main
same.
Street's
Still the same.
classic.
Still the same classic Main Street. Maybe some music updates. That's about it.
Nothing new at Lincoln's
No.
Well,
they redid the
gallery.
gallery.
What's the gallery look like?
I
I
think
liked
right-
the gallery
well-
before.
Well,
They're
it
usually
just-
promoting something. So right now it's Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Haunted Mansion movie props and things like that. So for those, we're recording this in August. This episode might come out end of August, beginning of September. I'm not sure exactly on the date on this episode, but as of the time of this recording, it's a Haunted Mansion movie.
And they're gearing
It'll
up
probably
for the
stay that
next-
way through October.
You would
then,
think so.
And then when they're ready for like the
when they're
Christmas
ready to
movies,
promote maybe Wish or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
do a bunch of
Yeah.
art for that,
I can see that.
if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Adventureland, the bathrooms are closed right now.
Yeah, it was all boarded up when I was there.
So if you thought Adventureland entrance was a bottleneck, it's
oh,
even
it's
worse.
worse.
Bad plumbing. Bad plumbing.
It's only room for 2 people side by side.
So apparently that rock wall,
Side by side, stand next to each other.
So that rock wall garden thing,
Yeah.
they had to take that whole thing apart.
Why?
to get to the
get
pipes.
to the pipes.
The pipes are broken, and they've got to replace the pipes.
Wow.
So like, and it's still unsure whether or not it's going to come back in its former self or a lesser state. Probably a lesser state.
Yeah.
Or
What?
open.
Well, yeah, because they're probably going to readjust where the piping is accessible.
Right. Let's see here. There's not much.
Well,
jungle-
there's
What about the treehouse?
I know I haven't gotten there. I was,
Oh.
just, I was
So,
going
in
through the land. I was like,
Adventureland-
"There's no Jungle Cruise. There's no Tiki Room updates."
No.
I mean, the restaurant there is still worth going to.
Yes.
By the tiki room.
Yes, I
What's
really.
the restaurant?
the Tahitian Terrace. Is it still? No, that's
Are
the
you
old
talking about
one.
where the old Aladdin show
Yes.
was?
Yes.
And the little magic carpet at the entrance is still there.
Okay.
As
I
a
didn't
little
know that was
tribute.
Yeah.
They've got little. You just go
Little
through
dumpling-
and pick
yeah.
things
It's
out.
really
there.
good.
Does it still have the
You could
exterior
get
of
Dole
like?
Whips there.
Do they still have the exterior of Aladdin,
No.
or so it's got the theming
The
of
line-
like
yeah.
tropical
Yes.
island?
It's
Yes.
it's back to like Tiki themed.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice place, relaxing place.
Yeah.
That'd be exciting to look at.
Lots
I
of
look forward to that.
tables.
And there's
Dole
even
Whips.
there's even an animatronic that's in the seating area.
And when it dies, it flips over like it does in the tiki room.
It's,
They always like flip over and they like their claws like hook up still, and so they just dangle there.
It's Rosita,
oh, Rosita,
the one that's not in the show, because
That's
they
the-
mentioned that she's not like they mentioned Rosita in the show, but she's not in the show.
she's not there.
She's at the restaurant.
I still remember when Dad's like trivia questions like name the birds
know.
from there, and I was like, I sat there for hours, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't listen to that.
But yeah, there's nothing at Jungle Cruise. Indiana Jones, they've
They
updated it a
did
little bit.
Yeah, they updated it.
They fixed some of these sequences. So if
They put Harrison Ford's walker in one of the relics in his office?
So there's the one scene where like Harrison Ford is by a door.
and he's protecting us from the sheets.
Yeah, the rainbow sheets. They added like actual like effects to it.
The fog is back on the bottom of the lava pit, so you don't just see the light bulbs down there anymore. It's actually
Back
a
in
little
my
bit more
day, there used to be
mysterious.
fire that burned your eyebrows.
The snake is fixed because
Yeah.
for a long time it was broken.
It went all
Um,
Yeti on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They changed the rat scene. You guys remember the rat scene?
Yeah, it was like fog, like projection.
So they changed that. There's this whole projection scene now with like the temple like crumbling and falling apart.
Yeah.
So it's something more interesting than a broken. The rat effect didn't even work anymore, but you heard the rats, but you never got to see them. You
Yeah.
just saw this random like foggy light, and that was it. Where the rats used to be. So they
Now it's like electrical, like,
Yeah, it's like-
lightning kind of effect.
yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked the
You thought it was
the
an
changes.
improvement to
I
the
did.
original rats
I
And
did.
then they
were working. Yeah.
and then they fixed the boulder scene. For a while that had been broken.
Didn't you say yours was broken? when you
Mine was
experienced it?
broken when we went. It was
going backwards.
You could tell, like, when we were riding it that we got off track somehow. Like,
So the timing was off.
The timing was off, and I was like, oh, the boulder is going to be off. And we got in, and, like, Indiana Jones is hanging there. And, like, we're like, you know, I'm like, get in, like, jump in. And the boulder's just, like, going backwards. And we're like,
Well,
all right.
that's the thing is the boulder doesn't move. The boulder doesn't come at you. It's the walls that move.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the walls that move. And like there's a part where if they give you the illusion that you back up, the vehicles cannot go backwards.
Yeah, no.
They stay still, but they move the walls to make you feel like your
And they
vehicle
rumble
is
it.
moving.
Oh.
They
Yeah.
probably do a slight tilt back or something like that.
Right, to give you the illusion
Like,
that you're moving.
well, the force of going backwards. Ooh, interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Little spoiler there.
I had no idea. You just blew my mind right there.
And right now, Indiana Jones will show up around
For now,
Adventureland.
I mean, for the promotion,
Old Indy or
young
Young
Indy?
Young
It's
Indy.
young Indy.
I want old Indy. I liked old Indy in the movie. All cynical, alcoholic.
Is this a glimpse into your future?
Well, they did introduce
I hope not.
alcohol into
I've got the
park,
cynic
right?
part, but
They introduced alcohol into the park, didn't they?
Yeah, they're
They're
starting
mentioned
to.
it,
They're
yes.
about to start allowing that at certain
Oh,
restaurants.
I
The
think
sit down.
Tiana's is going to get it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the restaurants will have it.
okay.
Alcohol.
And then they're in the process of changing the Tarzan treehouse into the Adventureland treehouse, inspired by the Swiss Family Robinson.
Yes.
Yay!
They will not serve alcohol on the tree because the lawyers had a problem.
You
with
got to
that.
go all the way up to get there.
Right.
I can just imagine like the
The
40-year-old.
line of all the adults.
I just see the Real Housewife 40-year-old ladies going, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! Look at the view. I could totally see the castle from here. Look at the castle." And then you hear, "Doo, doo, 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 doo."
Honestly, if you can afford to get drunk at Disneyland,
Yeah.
props to you.
Real Housewives.
Yeah.
Their alcohol is expensive. It's no joke. Just listen to our Club 33 discussion about
Oh yeah, although
alcohol
the
there.
alcohol prices were really high. I mentioned there. Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's not too much revealed. I mean, they revealed it's about a family with, father, mother, son, and daughter. There's a C reference in the concept art. So
S-E-A.
S-E-A. Yeah. The Society of Explorers and Adventurers.
Look up our previous podcast on that. Peter
Yes,
goes into
it's-
history with it. It's really
the
good.
hidden backstory in only the theme parks, not in the movies. So
Not yet.
not yet. Well, there is talks about making a movie, but heck, they're canceling movies.
How
left
do you
and right,
write a
so.
story with 4 different storylines merging and that'd be hard.
Well, I mean, it's not about the theme parks. It's about the explorers.
Yeah, you have
that
the
are
different
part.
explorers, but how do you bring them together without just being a
Well,
generic
Well, I mean, you do what they do with the Marvel movies. Everyone gets a standalone movie, and then you kind of have a big event where they all get together.
Thanos comes in.
Yeah,
And Jock the pilot comes in.
Jacques.
It's my
Jacques
pet-
Lindsay.
It's,
yeah,
it's my pet.
It's
a
my
snake.
pet snake, Reggie.
I hate snakes. I'll snap it away.
But yeah, I mean, there's not too much there. Swiss Capoca's coming back.
Yay!
Yeah, that was
What was that?
That's the music.
That's the organ music.
Oh, that's the organ music.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love that.
Yeah, so
That was my favorite part.
supposedly that's coming back.
Good.
Not just on LP.
Right. So not too much. No pirate news. I
No.
don't have anything for pirates. They are in the probably by the time this episode comes out, the Tiana's Place restaurant will be open, which
Yeah,
is the
Is that the French market?
that's the French Market restaurant.
Yeah, they basically reskinned it and whatnot, but
Right
It-
across from the Haunted Mansion.
yeah, it looks practically
Your
done.
wording is just great there. Haunted Mansion and the reskinning of it.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
It looks great.
It looks good. Apparently, Tiana's going to show up on top of the balcony of the place. And
Oh, that'll be great.
there'll be, her interaction with the
change-
guests.
Tiana was one of my favorite characters in the parks. She was
Yeah.
She's a
always
very good
great.
character meet and greet.
Yeah.
Her, Meredith is always really good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're changing the mobile order pickup
Yes.
for
Please.
that location.
It was great when nobody else was doing it.
Because it was at where, like, you would get beignets and mint julep in that area, which
And that was just
always so
chaos.
crowded. It's all the new mobile order pickup is going to be on the other side.
So it's not gonna be like Tickle Me Elmo kind of chaos. Like those are my beignets. I've been waiting for 3 hours.
Right. Yeah.
So it'll help.
But so that'll probably be open
Soon.
probably by the time this episode's out, it'll probably already be open. That's how close they are. I haven't
Yes.
heard a date yet.
No date yet. They haven't released any menu items,
No.
so maybe Halloween time, October. That's my guess.
How fun.
I was probably before then. But then they've got Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is replacing Splash Mountain.
When's that coming out?
To be determined.
They say 2024. I'm guessing 2025.
I'm gonna miss the dead tree stump at the top of the.
Yeah, the dead tree
That's
stuff
gone.
It's gone. It's been taken apart. So
I'm
right
gonna
now
miss that.
they're at the demo phase. So apparently there was an issue. There was like a fire inside during demo.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently a ghost. There's a ghost at Splash Mountain. That's
Well, enough people have died there.
so.
Yeah.
I mean, no one dies at Disney.
And then Galaxy's Edge, there's really not much new. There's just more character meet and greets.
Have they changed the
going on.
timeline for it where it's not so strict?
Yes,
like,
they've so like you can meet Mando and Grogu, Fennec Shan, so because that's not in time plane.
that's
so
what's
but
making
they've kind
money
of
for them.
they've kind of got it sectioned, so like they'll only be in specific locations. So like you'll run into Chewbacca everywhere. Chewbacca has free reign.
The
pretty
Wookiees
much.
live a long time.
I mean, yeah.
They transcend time, yeah.
And then Rey kind of stays.
So the Sith can show up anywhere too, because they're the same thing, right?
As long as there's just
Right,
two
Like
of
the
them.
Emperor,
Yeah, I want the one that's like attached to the White House and be like, I'm here. I created you.
I would love an emperor like me to show up.
the old one.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Yeah.
And then Boba and Fennec, they kind of show up. They're in the market area. That's where they kind of hang out.
Yeah.
And then you got Kylo Ren and the Stormtroopers. They're over in the First Order area.
Any tips on boarding passes and stuff?
Yeah.
That's changed. So what's your advice on that?
So Rise of the Resistance. First tip: do not rope drop it.
No,
Do
it's a trap.
It's a trap. Everyone rope drops it. It's usually the longest wait time.
It's
is
the new Peter
first thing
Pan.
in the morning.
Go
Yep.
to Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go to Space Mountain
Well,
first.
yeah,
If your goal
we'll
is
get
to
that.
yeah,
To do big rides.
Yeah.
if your goal is to
It's
do
the
big
mountain
rides,
run.
Space Mountain.
Okay.
Because more people are going to that side of the park, and not as many people going to the east side.
Okay.
But
So
as far as Rise of the Resistance, don't go first thing in the morning. The best luck I've had with just standby queue is in the evening, like 6-7 o'clock. It does close
I was gonna
2
say.
hours before the
9
park
o'clock.
close.
they always close at 9 o'clock.
That may be earlier.
It's
It may be
2
earlier?
hours
Okay.
before the park closes.
Okay.
So if it closes at 12, it closes at 10.
It's a very complicated ride system that requires a lot of work to be done with it. So, and don't be surprised to see that it's down, because it goes down a lot.
So if you're
So it's
only
the new
planning
Indy?
one day to do it, plan to show up somewhere in the middle of the day.
Like if your main purpose to go into Disneyland is that attraction might be worth picking up a lightning lane for.
So do a lightning lane for that if
Yeah,
you're
if
willing
you're-
to like
if you're-
guarantee it for your first time.
If your purpose is to ride that ride,
So for like me,
Yes.
who's never ridden it, and I'm a Star Wars fan, but I gotta, I'm nervous about managing my time there. It would be
Correct.
okay for me to pay for it.
Yeah,
also,
you could pay.
particularly since you got little children.
I got little
too.
well, the
ones.
thing is, you can. So this is how I milked the system before, because they do child swap, and you get that free fast pass.
Okay.
So you can have somebody go and stand by, and then the other person.
And I
can
gotta
go
stay
fast
with my
pass.
2 children.
Yeah,
So
but
with
there's a lot of things to,
Well,
to entertain children at
No,
Galaxy's Edge.
usually you let Tess sit there, so she gets the fast pass. So you're telling her that she gets the fast pass.
Right.
That might work.
She,
Yeah.
she'll go look at the shop. She'll go get something to eat, and then by the time she's done, you'll be done, and then you'll
She
swap.
fast
And
passes
What's the
it.
height on that?
40?
40?
I think it's 40.
All right. I need her to grow a couple more inches.
Yeah. I
so
think it's
with
40.
Rise of the Resistance lately, the popularity has died down.
Good.
Mickey's kind of absorbed some of that.
Not really.
Jeez, conflicting views. So you didn't see it on your trip.
On my trip and my prep beforehand, Mickey's Runaway Railway, I never saw it more than a 40-minute wait time.
It's not horrible, but it's still pulling. I mean, for a ride to pull that much at Toontown, that's pretty
Toontown
good.
is
It's pulling.
Toontown
Okay,
is pulling.
so I can see where Peter's saying it's pulling, but you could see where it's like it's stable.
It's
consistent.
not absorbing all of Rise
No.
Rise line. No.
It is
But-
also a different clientele.
Yes.
That's true.
It's
But
a different demographic.
But with because I experienced Rise of the Resistance when it first opened and throughout its time, and it was usually hitting wait times like 70, 80. It's now hitting like 50 and below.
Okay, your typical like main.
And it's
E-ticket.
measuring the wait time to the ride vehicle, which before then you're hitting a very like experienced show.
So there's kind of like a Haunted Mansion situation
Yes.
where like there's the queue and then you get put
There's a
into
stretch,
the stretch room,
room,
and then there's
there's
another
a little line
right.
to load you
so
up.
it's the same thing
Okay.
there.
So when like the actual show, I would say, starts,
is at merge.
it's
When
yeah.
you merge with FastPass, when you get introduced to the story.
And from then until the ride vehicle, it's probably 10-15 minutes. So you take that off the wait time, it's not that long. So when I got in, it was at 6:30 in the evening. It was a posted 35-minute wait. It was practically a walk-on.
Interesting.
It depends on. She went at a less crowded time period.
I went
think.
on a Saturday.
The most expensive day.
Yeah.
During the summer.
And that's a
so
weird thing that's been going on lately. The weekends are actually like
summer
very
weekend.
empty. Summer weekends are very empty.
Very empty.
At Disneyland.
Also very expensive.
I wouldn't say empty, manageable.
Yes, much
Where
more
you didn't feel
manageable.
overwhelmed,
I was not overwhelmed. It was like almost the old Disney.
like the old fall like trips.
Yes.
Oh man, that's amazing.
But the weekdays, when the price is closer to $100
Ah.
for a ticket, as opposed to maybe $175.
so people
or
are getting
more.
deterred by like that $20, $30 difference right
Yep.
there.
Yes.
Man, in the end, that doesn't. I mean, that's a
And also the summer
Burger King
heat.
trip.
And also
annual passes.
annual passes won't let you go during
Ooh,
summer.
so weekends aren't a horrible thing.
Not anymore.
Nice.
But it
It's kind of
depends
worth like
when
the
you're
20,
going.
30 bucks, really.
If you're
Yeah.
going in January, there may not be those.
Yeah,
Those
Disney.
days.
Disney
That price. So I gotta manage my dates
Yeah.
based on what they're charging.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of things currently in flux right now, so our advice may not be applicable for.
But it is
some
something to
things.
manage where you look at the pricing that may affect your crowd levels.
Yes.
Because if it's
Yes.
cheaper, then you may see more people there trying to avoid going to that part because they may go to like Legoland or Universal
Right.
Right.
where it's going to be cheaper or a set price.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Frontierland, there's nothing new there.
No.
There's nothing.
They
new
still
there.
sell the chimichangas.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Is the shooting
they
range
sell
still there?
out. Shooting range is still there.
They sell out on chimichangas?
Yeah, and they do breakfast chimichangas, and they sell
Ooh.
out within like the first hour.
Okay.
So, Fantasyland, there's just a lot of construction right now. I think they're just kind of.
Refurbing.
It's not necessarily. I don't think it's like attraction refurbishments.
It's just
I
exterior.
I think it's more like structural
Yeah.
refurbishment because they're older buildings. So,
I think I heard they were redoing the roofs.
yes. And so
The
the
roof.
Alice
The roof. Sorry.
and Mr. Toad and I think at one point I
Peter
think Peter
Pan.
Pan was covered up, but I don't think it's covered up anymore. I think now it's just
No,
Mr.
It's
Toad's.
just Mr. Toad. When I was
but
there.
but the attraction is still open, but the facade is.
well,
It's blocked. They've got the scrim on it. The little
Mr.
screen.
Toad was closed. For
It
me,
was closed.
but it'll be open.
It'll be open by the time this episode comes out.
Yes.
So, other than that, that's the Phantasmic Dragon. We got to talk about the Phantasmic Dragon.
It caught on fire.
R.I.P.
Yeah, it's gone.
So-
They're not bringing it back.
It was funny though because like when it happened and
You guys were there,
people-
weren't you?
No, we weren't there. When it happened, people were asking, "Are you going to bring back Murphy?" Which is the name of the dragon, nickname for Murphy's Law, because everything that
It always
could go
broke
wrong
down.
always broke down. They always had so much
Are
trouble.
you going to bring
with
back the
dragon.
boom from
They
like
kept
Disney
asking,
World?
it's like, are you going to bring back the dragon? Are you going to? He's like, yes, we're going to rebuild the dragon. And then recently they're all like, Phantasmic's coming back next year, where Mickey will fight Maleficent, not the dragon.
Yeah, because Maleficent does show. And they're just going to raise her up. And she's going to have this big giant skirt and wave her
Probably.
wand around.
I actually did see a Phantasmic show where she was up there and it didn't retract. And
so she's just up there like,
there.
oh, my magic's not working.
Yeah.
But
Right now they have singers on the bay.
yeah, isn't it the lady that sings
They-
a California Adventure?
It's something that same style.
Yeah, I think it's the lady that sings over on.
What
the
do they
Buena
sing?
Vista.
Just like jazz
music.
style music. They're on like the rafts and with a band and they're singing.
Okay.
That's their temporary solution for now because they got to do something. And actually, a lot of people are saying that like even when Phantasmic comes back, that should stick around
Yeah.
afterward.
Okay,
Because
that's
it's-
cool
it
that they
adds-
like got a good
It's
solution
just
that
a
could
nice
stick.
little nighttime entertainment over
Good
there.
ambiance
Yeah.
for the area.
Live entertainment is always good.
I always like being in that area at night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of a warmth and
Especially
like,
when it's a
bustle.
non-Phantasmic night.
Yes.
Because it's like there's like a peace and calmness in the area.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything. Space Mountain has a single rider queue now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's something. Something to consider, and it's actually you can get on pretty quickly, like almost immediately on.
I experienced like when I did the Space Mountain at Paris, the single rider, that did not work in my favor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because you're 2 and 2, and so you're just waiting for someone to have
An odd number.
Yeah.
And so we ready to go to DCA?
Yeah, we could go to DCA real quick.
Okay. Not much in Buena. Hollywoodland. There's not really much going on there.
Except for the new show.
Except, well, Rogers, which by the time our episode comes out, will be gone.
Supposedly gone.
They
We'll
haven't
see.
announced the official date.
Explain
Oh,
what
they have.
Rogers is
Oh.
for people that don't know.
So if you guys have seen the Disney Plus series Hawkeye, there was a sequence there where they go see a Broadway musical show called Rogers the Musical, which is an Avengers Broadway musical show about Steve Rogers.
It's like Spider-Man
And
Broadway
so
without
when that-
Spider-Man dying.
When that show happened, everyone was all like, well, you built a Marvel land. Why don't you put the show at the Hyperion Theater? And eventually Disney got around to being like, okay, I guess, yeah, we can do it for a short time. And so just for this summer, they're all like, Rogers the Musical.
so they
for
did like
one
a
summer.
feeler to see how the crowds do with it.
Yeah, I saw the show. It was great to be back in that theater.
It's a great
It's
theater.
such a great theater. So
Got air conditioning
yes,
Right.
and
So-
padded seats.
It was just great to be back in there, and I missed not having a show in there for so long. The beginning of Rogers the Musical was good. I really enjoyed it until after the ending was not great. And you can actually watch this on YouTube. It's the full show's on YouTube. It's only
it's not that long.
it's a half an hour show. But overall, I was good. I enjoyed it.
Should it stay there?
A seasonal thing. I feel like a summer thing would be okay.
Rank the shows: Aladdin, Frozen, and Rogers.
What, you're not going to include Stomp?
You just
I don't know that she saw Stomp.
I didn't see
you
Stomp.
just said the order.
I said the Aladdin #1, Frozen, and then
Rogers.
Aladdin was so much fun. The genie
It
was
killed.
always good.
Yeah.
And this one, Nick Fury's kind of the genie.
But I would be
He's
okay
the comic relief.
as far as the future of the Hyperion Theater. I would be okay if they just did seasonal shows, like quick 30-minute, like Rogers the Musical in the summer, something in the Christmas time.
How about Nemo? Should they put Nemo in there?
I would love to see Nemo.
That would be amazing.
It should be mandatory anytime it's above 90 degrees.
And with Rogers the
Yeah, I agree.
Musical, as far as tips, well, I guess it doesn't matter.
It won't matter.
Because it's going to be gone. But as far as other shows that may come in the future, they have virtual queue, which is pretty easy to get in. But they also have standby, which everyone's accepted. And,
You just walk in
yeah.
Pretty much.
when it's time.
Yeah.
And then Avengers Campus, that's pretty new. Post.
Yeah, I've never done that, so that should be fun to go to.
Yeah, they announced
look.
that it was going to open summer of 2020, and then they closed spring. Then did the park closed in spring of 2020, and then they like delayed the opening for like a while after the parks had reopened.
Yeah,
which
last time I was there was a Bug's Life land. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool land. I mean, Spider-Man attraction's okay. I think the crowd level the hype on that one has died down. So
It
the
definitely has died
line
down,
is more
which is
manageable.
good.
So it's got a more realistic line.
Exercise your web slinging.
It's
Yes,
tiring.
There's a wrist like movement.
You just
Yes.
have to move your arms.
It will.
Yep.
So
But
do
it
the
will
tire you
Macarena.
out.
Ooh, Macarena.
Yeah.
right.
Basically. Yeah. It's a manageable line. Once you get inside, so the queue is all outside. So once you're inside, basically the show begins.
Yeah.
So if you see the queue outside and it's not that bad, you're fine to
You're
jump
all right. So
in.
don't be intimidated by it.
No.
Is Guardians of the Galaxy still a manageable queue?
Still the
It's
same.
busy.
Is it busy?
It's a lot. It's pretty busy in the afternoon, and
Yeah, it is one of the busiest rides in the park.
So I should do a lightning.
I would
You would
recommend a
get
lightning.
Genie-
Yeah,
Genie
Genie
Plus.
Plus, not lightning. Lightning's buying. Genie
Yes.
Plus is
Yeah. I
is
would-
the paid app Fast Pass.
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely get a fast pass for it or hit it early in the morning.
So
Okay.
I mean, I do have a strategy for California Adventure that's
Oh.
worked really well for me.
Hit the pier.
Yeah, go to the pier first, or you go Soarin' first, because Soarin's always bad. You want to get that one done out of
Just
the way.
get it out of the
first.
way.
Yeah, so you're not bogged down with the fast pass queue people, because that's what kills that line.
Or you
Oh.
can
Yeah.
just get a fast pass and you're totally fine with that.
right, and then yeah, if you get the Genie Plus, then it
I'm
doesn't
trying
matter.
to
when
think
you
like
go.
how to manage it with like a little kid, like a 3-year-old. Like
different.
that. Like what's a DCA that's really like? Can she do the
she'll
river
be
run?
able to do
Toy Story.
Toy Story,
Story.
Cars Land. She'll be able to do a lot of that
Okay,
stuff.
Cars Land will be fun.
There's
And then
the
there's-
jumping jellyfish
And there's obviously the really thrilling attraction of Monsters Inc., where you have to wait 50 minutes to ride a 2-minute
You
ride.
want to hear a really sad story that happened to me on my last trip?
Sure.
Sure.
So we were riding Monsters Inc. and I need a wheelchair to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
But we will usually park the wheelchair outside the attraction, next to strollers or whatnot, to go ride the attraction. Well, we did that for Monsters Inc. And when we got out, someone stole our wheelchair.
Oh.
It was at the end of the evening, so it just wasn't worth like going back and getting another one. And so it was really sad. It
That's
ruined
rough.
our night.
Oh, people, stop being mean.
Yeah.
Were you mean to any cast members? Because what we used to
No.
do was like take their strollers and put it backstage.
Mickey's PhilharMagic still there?
It is still there.
It's okay. It's a
But
good
it's
place to
n-
cool off.
It's not
Air-
where you want to enjoy that show.
Air conditioning, padded seats.
If you want air conditioning, sure. But don't expect it to be a good show in that theater.
If
Even
you've never
waiting for
seen
the
it
queue
at
is not
Disney
bad.
World, you'll still love it.
It's a good show, but Peter is a truest when it comes to the
Oh my
show.
gosh.
He is very particular.
Disney
He's
World
very
or not.
passionate about
Like
the
I will
show.
end up going to it because I'll usually end up having to watch the kids while the adults go ride Guardians, and
Yeah.
that's what I'll go take the kids to. I'll go take them to that, and then take them to the animation lobby to run around and be crazy,
Oh, love that animation lobby.
do turtle talk or something.
Oh,
like
it's
that.
great.
Would you, because you love it at Disney World so much, would you pay if they're like, you have to pay to get in?
Yes.
Would you pay the $5 to
Absolutely,
get in?
No
absolutely.
way.
I would pay $5.
$5? What's the
No.
limit? $10 too much?
Yes, I would say 10 would be too much.
So $9.99 is good?
At Disney World, $10 is not that expensive.
It's not.
I would
$10
never
is-
pay that much.
No, you wouldn't. That's why I asked.
Would you do that for Monsters Inc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
laugh
love
floor?
that one.
See?
I love that one.
Oh, the
Say-
laugh.
So would you pay $10 to get into the laugh floor?
No, probably not.
$9.99?
but I'd probably pay $5.
$5 is,
$5.
I think, the limit.
Hear that,
for
Disney? You can start charging $5 for these basic
Just
rides
for me.
for the Yodelers.
They're like, oh, you're a Yodeler, $5.
They're like, we can customize your account.
We're
Right.
bringing in not only the passports, but your A through G tickets.
Right.
You must pay for these.
Let's see here. There's nothing new in Cars Land. That's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there. They have redesigned the Pacific Wharf
To San Fran, Tokyo.
to San Francisco.
How
And-
fun.
It's
So big. For
it's
those that don't
open.
know what that is, it's Big Hero 6.
It was not open when I was there, but the food was open, but the official bridge, but it's opening at end of August.
The
It's
land
a
wasn't
re-
open, but it was open because that's the food court.
It's a redecorated food court.
Yes.
But
That's what it.
That's
But the
what-
same food choices.
They've
no,
updated
they
the
updated the
menus.
menu, and we tried some new things. It was pretty good.
Any recommendations?
We had these like fried tacos, and the salsa that came with, just, it was very good. Chef's kiss.
Oh, good.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, it looked like from last I've seen for the construction photos, it looks like they just got to paint the bridge. That's where they're at right now. They just got to paint it
They
red.
announced a release date,
Oh,
end
did
of
they?
August, so
End
it'll
of
be
August?
open probably.
Well, they
by the time
initially said, well, I mean, they had an opening at the end of July for it, because that's when the new menu items came out.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, the land would be open. By the time this episode comes out, it'll probably be open with the Baymax meet and greet over there.
Oh,
and
fun.
Things like that.
you didn't finish your strategy for California Adventure without the Genie Plus.
Oh, yeah, without Genie Plus, you want to hit Soarin' first because, like, nobody's using their Fast Passes for that first thing.
No.
They're usually using it for, like, Cars Land. Well, no, Cars Land's Lightning Lane. They're usually using it for, like either Spider-Man or
Guardians.
or California Screaming, something stupid like that.
Oh, I would never get a fast pass for California Screaming.
Well, you don't. It's if you as long as
Or
you
the
pay
Incredible
for
Coaster.
the generic one or the generic Genie Plus,
It's fine.
It's included.
Yeah,
like,
that one's included. Only, I think it's
Radiator
just Radiator
Springs.
Springs is
That's
the only one that you have to individually
And
pay
honestly, it's worth it. Just pay for it.
for. Or just go single rider. That would have been my suggestion for Radiator Springs. If you can get away with doing single rider, do single rider.
Okay, back
don't
to
like.
the-
But back to the strategy. Without Genie
strategy.
Plus, after you do Soarin', you go through the river area, go all the way to the back of Paradise Pier, or Pixar Pier now, and then literally you do the loop. You do Incredicoaster, you do Toy Story,
I would
Midway
do
Mania.
Toy Story first, but yeah.
Either one. You kind of knock out that whole section. If you want to do the Ferris wheel, do the Ferris wheel. It's a good
Yes.
time. Like, because everyone's in that Marvel area
Yeah.
and Cars Land first thing
No
in the
one's
morning.
made their way to the
Nobody's in the
back.
pier yet. And so, like, you can literally
Everything's
knock
walk
out
on.
a third of the park within your first 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you don't have
And
to
then
head
from
that
there,
back
you
there.
don't feel as stressed. Exactly. You're not
You feel
feeling
more
that-
accomplished
Cause,
by
'cause-
midday.
Yeah.
Because by that point, everyone's kind of already now made their way back to the pier. That's when you want to hit Cars Land and
Yes.
and the Marvel the Avengers campus. That's when you would want to do that. And that way, like you knock out most of the attractions that would require a fast pass at that point. and then you've already and so like waiting and standby doesn't seem as daunting for certain attractions anymore. Like, oh, I can wait standby for Spider-Man and Grizzly River Run if you want to do that. The only one that's rough is Monsters Inc. because that one's always like a 50-minute wait.
Just skip it.
I don't know why, but that
would-
line is worse than Peter Pan. I don't know why that line is worse than Peter Pan.
Even for if you get a lightning lane or a fast
It's
pass,
still
for
like
it,
a
it's
15-minute wait.
bad.
It's like a cursed ride.
It is. Because of my last experience, I don't think I will ever ride it again.
The forest kind of play area.
Is it still there?
Yes, that's all
Yes.
still there.
Do you take your children
Yeah.
to that? When during the day would you?
That would be
get
that's a good like midday like peak busyness time. You know, everyone's there probably like so like a good time would be like right after lunch or right before lunch. You eat your lunch. You'd go there and play with your kids and things like that because like you know you got a Little Mermaid there and that is always a
Oh,
walk
that'd be
on.
big.
You know, Little Mermaid's always a walk on. So
Yeah.
like it's all in that area. So like that's a good like kid area to be midday.
That'd be good for me.
And you want to wear your kids out before you jump onto the next like thrill section of your day. So like after you do the pier and things like that, maybe make your way to that area you can play it with the kids and have that enjoyable experience. And then after that you eat. The kids will be kind of worn out. You can go
Nap time or
the kids will fall asleep.
Go
in
to the
their
animation
strollers.
studio.
Yep.
Kids will fall asleep and then you start doing your child swaps in with the big rides.
Ooh, some good advice right there. I like
Yeah.
that.
Let's see here. Construction wise, there's not really much going else at California Adventure. Can you think of anything?
When I went, there was a lot of ride closures. So when our California Adventure Day, when we entered, Incredicoaster was down until 1 o'clock, which was rough. Grizzly River Run was only open for 2 hours of the day. Soaring was closed until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
So that really throws everything off.
It threw everything off. So that's another tip is be aware of what's closed and adjust quickly. Yeah, so like a lot of the e-tickets were closed. And so because of that, the other e-tickets were very popular. And so we had to readjust.
Yeah, be aware of when rides close down of ride dumps.
Yes.
So like at Disney World, Splash Mountain would close. That means
Big Thunder.
Pirates and Big Thunder got slammed.
Yep.
And so you'd have to just people go to proximity rides.
Uh-huh.
And same with parade. We call it parade dump. People go. So if there's a parade along a ride like area, you know, do it while the parade's going. But as soon as the parade's done, everything gets slammed. And so at that time, it's best to do like a show that nobody wants to do.
Right. So that's it pretty much for DC.
Yeah.
Not too much is going on there. Downtown Disney, there's a lot of construction.
Is Earl there?
Earl is where the La Brea
Came
Bakery
back.
is.
It
It
came
is
back.
so close.
That's
It is-
great.
It is
It
right
is.
there. It's
You know,
closer than
it's
the Disney store.
Affordable too. Like it's
It always has
reasonable
been.
price. And so like if you don't want to like spend that food, just step out and go to
And it's
Earl's.
close.
And it's always solid food. I've never walked by going, oh, they ruined my
Now-
Earl sandwich.
Now its current location where the La Brea Bakery
It's
used
probably
to be,
busier.
Well, it's only going to be there temporary until they finish the construction on their new area for downtown Disney where the old AMC theater used to be because they tore that down.
yes.
But we're more than a year away on that.
We
Yes.
got some time.
We got some time on that, but apparently this is going to be a like sit down Earl of Sandwich where there's going to be like a sit down restaurant upstairs.
Well, and they have
Something like
the
that.
sit down restaurant currently open on the other side of La Brea Bakery.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
It's
Yes.
kind of small, but it is there.
But
It's like the something.
It's kind of like how it
tavern or
was
something.
back before, or when it was over by AMC. There was that little sit down, like inside.
But no, this is going to be like a
it's
sit down
basically
restaurant.
two
Okay.
different restaurants. So you've got the normal Earl that we're used to,
Yeah.
where it's like quick service, and they have
and there's
like
an actual
patio.
waiter on the other side.
There's like a patio seating, and then on the other side of the restaurant It's a sit-down restaurant.
Does the waiter have like a little white wig and they're like, "How do you like your air, sir?" And it's like extra crispy
It's
on the bacon
basically
on the
just two
club.
different restaurants, different type of food. They have like pizza and stuff like that.
Ooh, what's your Earl sandwich? Which one do you get?
Holiday turkey.
How about you, Dad?
Holiday turkey.
What about you?
I normally go the Hawaiian.
I go Earl Club.
So.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else is downtown Disney? The Uva Bar. You know what the Uva Bar is?
Uva.
So like you know how like
Uva.
when you go down downtown Disney and like it kind of like bubbles and there's
Yeah.
a restaurant right in the middle. That's the Uva Bar. There it's being taken over by the Cattell restaurant, which is right next to it. So
Yeah.
like there's going to be the Cattell sit down restaurant as well as this outdoor Cattell bar thing. So that's currently under construction there. They completely remodeled the exterior of the Jazz Kitchen.
Okay.
It's worse.
It's generic.
It's boring.
It's plain. It's not very interesting like it was, where it's lots of colors and plants and the weird chef statue out front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gone.
2000s kind of like style.
Splitsville, the bowling alley that they have there, they opened up this new
Outdoor
seating play area where you can play like big Jenga and things
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah. In that new area that they're building with the AMC Theater, they're building, was it Din Ti Fung? Nice, Chinese restaurant that they're building out there. They haven't really disclosed what shops are going to be there.
Lego store still there?
Lego store is still there.
How's the what is it? The World of Disney is still a solid store.
Yep.
It's still the same. Well, I mean, they did
They
update it.
redesigned it.
They
but-
redesigned
I don't like the new one. It takes all the like the Disney gallery type merchandise out, so
Right.
it's mostly just
Oh, it's just
clothes and junk.
so
Where's
the gallery stuff?
there's
It's a separate store.
It's called the Wonderground Gallery. It's on the way. It's kind of next to the Lego store.
Oh, I think I remember it. They had something
Yes.
there where. Okay.
It's still there. For a while it was closed because they were working on the restaurant, but it's now reopened there. The old Rainforest Cafe, that's currently a temporary Star Wars store.
It's a cool retheme. It fits well.
Indoors
It's
Express.
where you can buy a lot of Galaxy's Edge merchandise.
Honestly,
outside
it's
of the
my
land.
favorite place to go shopping for Star Wars merch.
How fun!
Going in Galaxy Edge is
It's a little chaotic.
It's a little
Yeah.
chaotic,
Every kid's trying to build a lightsaber,
and so it's just, and it's spread out. Like the merchandise shops
Yeah.
are kind of spread out, and you go there and everything's there that you want.
okay.
So it's
If you want your lightsaber, your legacy lightsabers, they've got them there.
my favorite tip, like when you are going to the parks, is if you're like arriving that day, or if you're arriving on the day
Before you're going to the park,
before you go to the park, head downtown Disney and just look at the merchandise.
get yourself pumped up.
Get yourself
Merch
pumped
pump.
up, look at what you may like, and then go to the park, see what you like, and then go back.
Yeah, go to the Disney store first, because if you go when everybody's leaving the park, it is jam packed.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, that is the worst because everyone's trying to like. I'll just wait it out from the trams.
And something that I discovered recently when it comes to merchandise, and when you buy stuff, you're kind of like, you have all these bags with you and you get stuck carrying them around. There's certain shops now that Disney provides a complimentary service where you can store your merchandise that you've bought. And they give you a ticket, and then you go back at the end of your day and pick it up.
Okay, it's like a layaway kind of
Yeah.
situation. All right, that's cool.
So ask when you're purchasing a big package.
Not
or
all
something,
stores do.
Not all stores,
it's-
but they should be able to point
the
you to
stores
it.
usually at the front of the park.
And if you're staying at a Disneyland resort,
You can get
you
it
can have it delivered
sent
to your
hotel.
room. Yeah.
So
But if you can afford that, you can have your valet take it back.
Oh my! Well, I have to take my monocle off in order to find something. Real quick.
now that we're talking about rich people, they are building They are almost done with the DVC tower at the Disneyland Resort.
It's very nice looking.
They've got designs of like what the rooms look like, the pool area. Like it's very, very nice. So if you're DVC or interested in DVC, I know a lot of people are excited for the Disneyland to have an additional hotel added to
for
their
sure.
thing.
It's more openings for reservations.
And if you want more information, we do have an episode on DVC, and
Well,
I think it was
is,
really good. Disney Vacation
yeah,
Club.
we interviewed someone who was a DVC member.
and they were really good.
They did a really good job selling it. So
They almost got me, and then I looked at my bank account. And I was like, nah.
Yeah, same.
I mean, that's it in terms of like what's new, what's construction
what's
going on.
coming.
Do you have like what else do you have? What do you want to talk about?
I've got just my quick recent tips. So I would say the most important thing is to be there at rope drop.
First 2 hours is the most important part of your day.
The most 2 to 3 hours, yes, it's definitely your most important. And when I say be there at rope drop, like if the park opens at 8, the gates open about 7:30. So you need to be in the park on Main Street like 7:30.
Yeah.
And the shops are open at that time, so if you want to look at the shops during that time.
There's food access in there. I mean, if you didn't get a complimentary breakfast.
And depending on like what you're in the park for, so if you want to go the thrill route, go to Space Mountain. If you've got young children, you might want to go hit Mickey Mouse,
and then work
Runaway
your way
Railway,
down.
and then work your way down through Fantasyland.
Yeah, do like Mickey's, Small World,
Do not
Fantasyland.
rope drop.
Don't rope drop Peter Pan.
or
Star Wars.
Or Star Wars, because there's a lot of people that do that, and like, that tends to be the longest time to wait for that
Unless you're the
attraction.
first person in line.
Right.
Which with the resort guests have early access half an hour before the park opens.
And they suck. They go right into there.
They ruin Peter Pan.
Oh yeah.
They ruin
So-
Peter Pan. Yeah, they don't have access to Galaxy's Edge
Yeah.
that early. They only have access to Tomorrowland and Fantasyland.
That always blew my
Disneyland.
mind when you look at the wait line when you first get to Disneyland and you're like, why is Peter Pan already 50 minutes and it just open? Like,
Yeah.
how do they know
Sometimes your
that?
shortest waits on Peter Pan is middle of the day because the sun
Beats
keeps
down
people
on it.
out of the line.
Peter Pan is a self-regulating line because once it gets to a certain point,
People are like, nope.
and that wait time where that hits is like 45, 50 minutes.
Yep. When it starts getting into the outside queue, people are like, I'm not paying. I'm not
I'm not
using
gonna
my time
touch
on that.
this. I like
Yep.
to ride at night so I don't get sunburned.
I just
But
think of that music from Black Hole. The doo 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 when I'm in that line.
yeah, my next tip is don't even think about Genie Plus for the first 3 hours of the day.
Correct.
All right.
Don't even think about it. Don't
a
worry about it because
It's a waste.
Genie, once you use a lightning lane for one attraction, that's it for the day.
If there's key attractions you might want to keep an eye on.
Yes.
Like Space Mountain. So like Space Mountain, like keep an eye on that. Like you might want to
wanna
reserve
hit it
that
midday.
if that's like, oh, it's
1
now
o'clock,
pulling for 1
12.
o'clock and it's only 10 o'clock right now. You go and reserve that so that when after lunch you can go ride Space Mountain.
But you don't want to reserve a lightning lane for the first 3 hours of the park day.
Yeah, like you don't need a 9:30 fast pass
No.
for anything or
No.
10 o'clock for anything.
Okay, that's good advice. I like that. I would have been a sucker for that.
And that's another thing. If you don't want to pay for Genie Plus, rope drop is so important for you. And the main things you want to do is try to hit as many like lightning
attraction.
lane
The
attractions.
first 2 hours.
Don't go on pirates. Don't go on
No.
teacups. Don't go on that. Like, go on the attractions that use Genie Plus in the first like.
I know.
2
I had a
hours.
coworker who told me, he's like, yeah, first thing we do, we always hit pirates. First thing in the morning. I'm like,
No.
you just wasted like 30 minutes of your day just doing that.
I remember doing
for no
that.
wait.
On we got early access to the park, and I was like, I'll just go on Pirates, and it was like, oh my gosh, I've been on here for way too long. I just wasted my
Yes.
free time in the park.
Because it is the most efficient line in the park. I stand by
Yes.
that always and forever. It moves. Even if it looks long, it's down by Haunted Mansion. It's still
Always.
moves.
You'll
It's
be
probably
in.
like a 40-minute or less.
Right.
If it's over by Haunted.
That's funny how you said that. It would kind of remind me of Monsters Inc. Like, always watching, always moving.
And once you hit like as many lightning lanes before the park fills up and lanes are getting longer, that's when you can determine
Do
if
some
you
shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Go eat your food.
go eat food and
by 11. Like by 11, that's like a good time to start looking at restaurants because people are just now getting to the parks, and so they're not looking for food right
They're
away.
looking to try to get some things
try
done
to
under
catch
the belt.
the off hours for regular eating.
Just right before like lunch or right before dinner.
So like
Yeah.
11 o'clock is good, and like 3 o'clock.
3 and 4
and
o'clock.
that goes into my next tip. Mobile order is your best friend.
Yes.
or a nightmare.
It depends. So like if you're looking for that spontaneous, like, oh, we'll just order it right now, your choices will be limited.
Yes.
But if you're aware of your day
And
and
when you're going to get off of your ride.
and you know your app, like, and you're watching it throughout the day, you can book your
Yes.
reservations for the ones that
So,
you
for
want.
example, I knew I was going to have a Dole Whip. I knew I was going to buy it, whatever. So, I made a mobile order, and I picked a time that I think I would maybe have it, like,
Yeah,
1
they
or
give you
2.
the choice as to the time you want.
Yeah, so maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, I'll have a Dole Whip. I paid through it on the app, and then that time hit, and I was like, I'm all the way on the other side of the park. I'm not going to get it. I adjusted the time to a later time.
Nice.
So if there's certain food you're like, I know I'm
Bengal
gonna get
barbecue.
this.
Oh man, that one
It's a lifesaver.
sells out quick.
Really?
That one is probably one of the ones.
There's
that
only so many
people-
Bengals you can kill, right?
Right. That one I always find that like they always sell out of mobile ordering really fast on that one.
So yeah, if there's certain food that you're like, I know I'm gonna eat it, do it. But also there's like another side of it because you're like, I already paid for it and I've gotta figure out when to go get it.
But go-to snack food, Ronto wraps.
Yeah.
Best.
Where
like,
are those at?
Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
It's just like a hot dog and a pita.
And
It's
you
so
don't
good, filling, and it's not that expensive for how much.
So
it
you don't
fills
think
you.
about the money that you spend
Correct.
on your food. That's my biggest thing with Disney pricing is like, as you eat it, you're like, I'm eating a $10 churro.
You feel satisfied eating this. You're
it's
like
a fancy hot dog
Okay.
and a pita.
you feel
I'd like that.
you feel satisfied eating it and not
It's
being
a little
like,
spicy.
I overpaid on that.
But we did that. Mobile order was easy. All right, let me just go real quick on these. Mobile order's good. Get familiar with the Disney app before your trip.
Yes.
Okay.
Download it, look at it, study it a little bit.
Yeah, I would say that was my last good tip.
If you are planning on getting Genie Plus, Magic Bands might be a good purchase. for
I
you.
disagree. I
If-
think
if
Magic
you-
Bands
if-
are a waste.
If you go to the parks, if you're a family that goes to the parks a lot and you're planning on using Genie Plus, I would say
It may be good, but if it's a one-time visit,
It's a
every
waste.
2 years,
Don't do it. Correct.
it's a trap. Okay.
Yeah.
And the old Genie bands that you've got in the past, they
Don't
don't count
work.
for anything.
Those
Or
are
if-
just regular Magic Bands. You need Magic Band Plus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Silly
the
me.
band is easier to work than your phone.
Yes.
So if you've got a phone that's hard to work with,
Correct.
you may want the band.
You mean your
because
3G Virgin Mobile like phone's not working anymore from
mine
2010?
doesn't switch pages. So like between me and my wife, when I get to with a fast pass,
Right.
lightning lane,
It's
I'm
tough.
standing there.
It's really
for
easy just to go
30
boop.
seconds. Trying
Okay,
to switch
so if you don't
between
have
the
an
But
easy
two.
phone,
also,
okay.
if you have your park ticket easy, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I remember them saying take a picture of your ticket.
Yeah,
Just
put,
in
it- put,
case.
put that on your home screen of your phone, of your screensaver.
Yeah.
That's what people do for. They have that for their the pictures magic. What do they call that? I don't know for the photography.
Photo
Yeah,
pal,
I remember
yeah.
doing that, taking a picture of my ticket so they can scan it real quick. Because like kids are like, I'm on your phone, and then it just like sucks it dry.
Yes.
But with Disney and going to Disneyland, like, people always ask, oh, what are your tips? And honestly, the best tip overall is do your prep work.
Know your goals and what you're trying to
Know
accomplish.
what you want to do.
And get there early.
Get there early. Nighttime is busy now.
Even all the way till close?
Yes.
Oh, man, that used to be that last hour was like you could really make up a lot of time.
It's lower, but it's
You
not.
can't run it. You can't run the tables
you
anymore.
cannot run it. So overall, do your research. Plan out what kind of day you want to have, and ask around.
Yeah.
Do your research. But if you have any tips that we didn't mention, let us know on our social medias. You can also email us. If we get so many people sharing their tips, we'll share maybe we'll do another update episode.
Disneyland Tips 2.1.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure you follow us on our social medias and listen to us on Spotify. But with that being said, have a magical day.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.